There's a moment right before you spend money where everything could go differently. Most people miss it, not because they're careless, but because it happens fast, too fast. It's that split second where the decision feels already made. You see something, you feel the urge. Before you even realize it, you're already justifying it in your head. And that's the moment that quietly shapes your entire financial life. Not the big purchases, not the once-in-a-while decisions, but these small, almost invisible moments that happen every single day. And if you don't learn how to interrupt that moment, nothing really changes. Now think about this honestly. How many times have you spent money and only questioned it after it was already done? Not before, after. When the feeling fades, when the excitement drops, when reality comes back in, that's when clarity shows up. But by then, it's too late. The decision has already been made. And this is exactly how the cycle repeats itself. You don't lack discipline. You don't lack intelligence. What you're missing is a pause, a small gap between the impulse and the action. Because without that gap, your brain defaults to what feels good right now, not what makes sense long term. Here's the truth most people avoid. You don't spend money because you need things. You spend money because of how you feel in the moment. Bored, stressed, tired, frustrated, even excited. All of these emotions can trigger spending, and your brain is wired to look for quick relief. That's why something small, something random, something unnecessary can suddenly feel like a good idea. But it's not about the thing you're buying. It's about the feeling you're trying to change. And if you don't become aware of that, you'll keep chasing temporary relief with permanent consequences. Now this is where everything starts to shift. You don't need more motivation. You don't need extreme discipline. You need a trigger that forces awareness right before the decision happens. Something simple enough to remember, but strong enough to break the pattern. And that's where this sentence comes in. Every time you're about to spend money, before you act, you ask yourself, do I really need this? Or am I just trying to feel something right now? That question changes everything because it brings honesty into a moment that's usually driven by emotion. At first, your brain will try to dodge the question. It'll rush you. It'll give you quick answers like, yeah, I need it, just to move forward. That's normal. You're interrupting a habit that's been running for years. But if you slow down, even for a few seconds, and actually sit with the question, you'll start to notice something. A lot of your spending isn't about need. It's about escape. It's about changing how you feel in that moment. And once you see that, it becomes harder to ignore. This doesn't mean you'll stop every bad decision overnight. That's not the goal. The goal is awareness, because awareness creates space, and space gives you the power to choose differently. Maybe you still buy it, but now you know why. And that alone starts to weaken the pattern, because habits lose strength the moment they're no longer invisible, and the more you repeat this process, the more natural that pause becomes. Now imagine applying this consistently. Every day, every small decision, that quick question before you act. Over time, something starts to change. You begin to feel less controlled by your impulses. You start noticing your triggers. You start catching yourself earlier, and slowly, your behavior shifts, not because you forced it, but because you became aware of it. And awareness, when practiced consistently, turns into control. But there's something deeper happening underneath all of this. Every time you pause and question your action, you're sending a message to yourself, I'm in control. And that message starts to reshape your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who always overspends or can't control money, and start seeing yourself as someone who thinks before acting, someone who chooses. And once that identity begins to take form, your actions naturally follow. Now think about the long-term effect of this. Fewer impulsive purchases, more intentional decisions, more money staying where it should, less regret, more clarity. It compounds, not in a dramatic overnight way, but in a quiet, consistent way that builds real change over time. Because your financial life isn't defined by one big decision, it's defined by hundreds of small ones. And if you can change those small moments, you change everything. So starting today, you don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to cut everything out or become extremely strict. You just need to catch that one moment right before you spend. And when you do, ask yourself, do I really need this? Or am I just trying to feel something right now? No pressure, no guilt, just honesty. Because that one question creates a pause, and that pause is where control begins. And from this point forward, that moment is no longer invisible to you. It's no longer automatic. It's a choice. And every time you choose with awareness, you're building a different financial future, one decision at a time.